The game is over in the ring. Triple H, one of the biggest villains in WWE history, calling it quits earlier today on ESPN. We covered it in detail. We'll continue to cover how the world of wrestling is reacting to it. And there is a massive reaction to this news just a week out before WWE's WrestleMania. Plus, we have news about another big and beloved Hall of Fame induction on today's Wrestling Sports Kita. I gotta do it right. I gotta do it right, Jeremy. I'm doing it wrong. You're looking at me like I know I'm doing it wrong. Sports Kita Wrestling top story of the day.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
I talk like I'm falling down the stairs some days. Watch out, watch out, watch out. It's a Freestyle Friday, a very, very busy one. Get in the conversation. Let us know what you think of Triple H announcing his retirement, your favorite matches and memories from him. We want to know. A Freestyle Friday. We'll take your questions in the final segment of the show. We have a lot to cover here. Just a week out from WrestleMania, 2 nights in Dallas at the Cowboy Stadium, AT&T Stadium, and, of course, a big Hall of Fame induction as well. We have some Hall of Fame news here. But obviously the news of the day here, Jamie, as I stumble once again. Paul Levesque, Triple H, suffering a cardiac event in September, announcing his retirement officially here in a big rollout, showcasing interview with ESPN. What do you think?
Yeah, so of course that news, we had breaking news earlier with Jose and Sid getting on, talking about the announcement that happened on First Take, and of course, as expected, the tributes and everything pouring out reactions to the news. As mentioned here in the Fightful article, Triple H's last official match was in 2019 when he teamed with Shinsuke Nakamura against Robert Roode and Samoa Joe in the special show in Japan. And so now the wrestling world all reacting to the retirement news that broke today. People from like Rhea Ripley, from being the reason why I started watching WWE to the reason I made it further in the business. Thank you for everything, Triple H. Simone Johnson getting in there, The Rock's daughter, Indy Hartwell. The Miz also getting in. Miz saying, Triple H, it was an honor to have shared the ring with you. Thank you for the wealth of knowledge you have given to me over the years. Enjoy the extra time you will now have with your girls. Hashtag thank you, Triple H. Ryan Satin, thanks to Triple H for decades of entertainment, whether in the ring, out of it, or behind the scenes, shaping up the future via NXT. The man has provided us all with countless great memories that I am incredibly thankful to have. What's your favorite Triple H moment? Charlotte Flair also providing thanks. Renee Paquette providing an old classic interview that she gave with Triple H backstage back in the day. Lots of great tributes that have just poured out. Damian Priest, for everything you've given us, for every improvement you made to our business, for your kindness, guidance, and leadership. Thank you, Triple H. Sasha Banks posting the photo of the iconic Triple H entrance from WrestleMania 30, where Triple H was on a throne, which opened up WrestleMania 30 against Daniel Bryan.
One of the best WrestleMania opening matches of all time,
and
easily.
Basically, the WrestleMania debuts, so to speak, of Sasha Banks, Charlotte Flair, and Alexa Bliss as they were alongside Triple H for his entrance before we knew them as wrestlers. Kind of a cool thing to see there. Mia Yim, Johnny Gargano, Ember Moon, now known as Athena, all sharing things. Mustafa Ali stated he did a lot of things. One of the most incredible things he did is give a room full of dreamers a chance. Thank you, Triple H. Kind of cool to hear from Mustafa Ali there. Alexa Bliss, the man who came up with the concept of Alexa's Playground. So talented in and out of the ring. Thank you for everything, Triple H. What an incredible in-ring career. So that's just the tip of the iceberg. Those are kind of the early ones from around the wrestling world. But obviously, probably a sound choice by Triple H to call it quits in the ring after what happened. I'm sure Sid and Jose covered in detail the report of just how devastating, how close to really being bad the situation was when Triple H found out of his health issues. So.
And of course, more of this interview will come out. This was more of just an announcement on First Take with ESPN with Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah.
That'll be rolled out on the ESPN platform and their ESPN Plus if you want to check out more details there. Tip of the cap to them as well. The worldwide leader in sports. So there you go. This is certainly big news. There's no denying this. Obviously, I know if you've been watching our channel today, there's a lot of it. If you're listening to the podcast version, this is almost a whole hour of us talking about this. This is one of the biggest villains in WWE history, one of the biggest performers they've ever had. Like, he's a top 10 guy saying you're never going to see him wrestle again. And mind you, I think there's a lot of people that saw it going this way, but I do appreciate that most of the vibe around the conversation with fans, like we're seeing a sad day for a fan like me, but no regrets, he had a damn good career. It is regretful because you're just a fan, you want to see him wrestle more, right? And it's special. I've seen him wrestle many, many times. It's always been a special moment.
Before this even came out that he had the episode, it was, Triple H even said himself at this point in his life, it'll take him 4 to 6 months to get ready to do another match. Now, we probably would have had one more or maybe a couple more out of him, but not many more anyways. And now this, with this happening, just kind of solidified everything and just calls just make an official end to what was a tremendous career.
More comments here coming in from these fans. You want to read these?
Yeah, we have here Andrea on the chat here. Triple H is awesome. Thank you so much for making WWE awesome. Low key trips put so many dudes over in the last decade.
Everyone talked about him burying people, like in the mid 2000s. Like there was a big anti Triple H backlash.
And
at that time
happened.
He was already married into the top brass of the company. He was married to Stephanie. So fans always had this sense of like, oh, he's burying people. And this is he was involved in creative as a performer. Very few people get to do that in WWE. Like the list of those people is probably
but
less
what's
than
funny,
5 or 6.
What's funny is he's the guy that took the fall for the curtain call.
Yeah.
Because, well, obviously
curtain call doesn't happen.
Yeah.
There's no NWO. Like you know what I mean? That doesn't happen. There's no him.
No, they were already leaving.
Become later.
They were already leaving, so that didn't matter. So
but I mean, it's a really special moment, and he's a critical part of it. And he also did the service of it. Like he's the one who paid the price for it.
If it wasn't for the curtain call, we may not have Austin 3:16 says I just whooped your ass.
Exactly.
Because Triple H was supposed to win that King of the Ring, and that was his punishment for the curtain call. Was that he did not win King of the Ring, and it was Steve Austin.
But there's people like this, like Scott Burke saying, marry the boss's daughter. So what? At this point, I don't think that matters. And here's why. I understand where it matters to some people who are still bitter like 10, 15 years later. But to me, it's still a so what, because if that's the case and he didn't deliver on that, like, all right, so did he benefit from that? I don't know. It's on the surface, you could just say, yeah, but I don't know that. And you don't know that. And it's purely speculative.
Yeah.
But if he's benefited from it, he certainly ran with it and did so many good things for WWE, got them ready for the digital age, got them ready to recruit independent talent when there was a big independent boom, got NXT where it should be, made NXT really, really exciting and fun, made a lot of stars, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Jeff Hardy. He made them single stars. Jeff Hardy could have been a single star on his own, but Triple H got him there. Roman Reigns, put him there. Daniel Bryan, put him there. Seth Rollins, put him there. And he did a lot of stuff. Some people saying Triple H sucks. Maybe you just don't like him as a heel. That's fine.
He probably could have ended the streak if he wanted to, but he didn't. He had 2 chances at it too.
Yeah. So the idea that people are trying to like rewrite history and just say, oh, because he married the boss's daughter, he isn't great. That's wrong. That is completely wrong.
That's wrong.
Like at the height of the WWE, he was one of the top players getting the biggest reactions and moving things mechanically. Everyone talks about the babyface does it. No, the heel gets the heat. The heel is the gas. All right. The babyface is just the cover of the car. And he was the engine that made things run in WWE as a performer in the ring and then a performer behind the curtain. And I hope he gets to still be involved with WWE moving forward. I don't think that, we haven't heard any illusions of him being completely done with WWE. But he isn't not back at a full-time basis yet. We do know that. So it'll be, I'm interested to see this interview and see how it comes out and what happens here with the details of this entire process and kind of coming to this, this idea like this. All right. Yeah, I know I'm not going to be in the ring anymore. I know it. And it's important that I say it because you don't want fans, thinking that, oh, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen, And it was almost important when they did it with The Undertaker where they had to say it. It's a bummer, but we're gonna let you know, especially if you're spending so much time with our product and so much. You have people that have watched for decades that are still behind it. It makes sense.
Yeah, we got more reactions coming in here. Matt Hardy, thanks for doing so much for professional wrestling, for the professional wrestling industry. Your passionate love for the biz shines through, and I'm happy I was able to experience some special moments with you. All the best, Paul. Bianca Belair, I will forever cherish this moment from you. This was when she won the title with Triple H there greeting her backstage. This simple gesture gave me the confirmation that I was finally walking in my purpose. You changed my life. Thank you for giving me a chance of believing in me and for all your contributions inside and out of the ring. Yeah, so just a couple more there that came in from Fightful. Thanks to Robert DeFelice, who will be one of the competitors for the Sportskeeda Trivia Federation Challenge this Sunday in our Triple Threat WrestleMania Challenge. And so
Andrew Wilson telling me the whole interview is up right now. Thank you, Andrew, for that. Cool. I appreciate it. I didn't see it pop up yet. Yeah, I saw the clip this morning on First Take. So it is interesting to see what's going to happen now, and knowing that he's another guy who's not going to come back for those big matches. This is another step up, guys. Who's the next big attraction for WWE that can do these type of things? John Cena can still do it. He can. There's still plenty more. I don't want to say plenty, but there's definitely some big John Cena matches left in the
We'll probably get one more out of The Rock next year.
Yep. So if you're a fan of those guys gone by, come by now and then. They're still
it's funny. By. Like I just watched WrestleMania 20, and they faced that exact same situation. Stone Cold had to retire. The Rock was going off to Hollywood. There was a lot. It was a reset period for them then, and so yeah, it's kind of there's always going to be a reset period.
Here we go. David Chaperon with a question here. Trips, we wouldn't have had DX, Evolution, or NXT. Yes, those are all tied directly to him and all the wrestlers who came from those factions. The man is a legend.
Yeah, well said.
Dan Deasy with a question here. Do you think the lack of success of the rebrand of NXT and it being stripped of its took away from any level he had for the business? Dan, no. I really, really don't. That's just a stretch because you'd have to ask him that question. I don't want to answer questions for people. But to say that, no. This is a guy who had a very serious health issue. I think his life took a different challenge that didn't have anything to do with professional business.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he's going to be doing when he comes back. If it's just going to be where he was, obviously Shawn Michaels was a big part of that, and now he's the head of NXT right now. So I don't think it's going to change once Triple H is healthy and ready to go. He's going to be a big part of NXT 2.0 unless something has drastically changed that we don't know.
Mm-hmm. Stephen Chambers, hey guys, tuning in late. Thank you, Triple H. Do you guys have any favorite Triple H matches? We'll get to that. It is Friday, so it's a Freestyle Friday. So if you're with us right now, this far into the video, don't go anywhere because we're going to answer questions in the final segment. We do have some other positive news here. Several years ago, Shad Gaspard, one half of the beloved WWE Tag Team Crime Time, who left WWE and left the wrestling business to pursue an acting career, sadly lost his life while trying to save his son's life during kind of a freak accident while they were swimming in California, and sent lifeguards. When the lifeguards turned to get him, and it was a wild drift of water, he told them, "Don't save me, save my son." They did, and he sadly passed away. Now we find the news here that Shad Gaspard will receive the 2022 Warrior Award from WWE at this year's WWE Hall of Fame. That was confirmed by the company today. This is one that people were calling for ever since Gaspard passed away. I know some people had so many great things to say about him. This is also a guy who tackled a man in Florida when he was trying to rob someplace at gunpoint and just totally took out the guy and used his wrestling skills to wreck somebody. So truly a guy who did the right thing when the right thing was called upon him, and multiple occasions, risking his own life and sacrificing it for his son. You cannot say anyone would do anything more valiant than that. And of course, a fitting award for him to receive. We don't know if JTG, his tag team partner, will receive it just yet. I would assume that he'll be a part of the event. I would really, really hope he would, and definitely his family will be a part of it. What do you think of this? This is a feel good thing. This makes complete sense at WWE.
Yeah, it was being asked, for back last year, but last year, Titus O'Neil won it last year, and maybe logistics of family and other things could not do it this year. So it's good to see or last year. So it's good to see that they did it this year. It's hard to believe that it's almost been 2 years already since that's happened. But Shad joins, a list of true warriors ever since 2015 when that was established a year after Ultimate Warrior's death. Of course, you got Connor, the Crusher, Joan London, Eric LeGrand, J.J. Robertson, Sue Atchison, Rich Herring among the past recipients, and then, of course, Titus O'Neil last year. So yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be cool to see. Hopefully JTG is the one to induct, to give a speech, and it'll be kind of funny. Vince has probably not seen JTG in a while. Now that he's all jacked, he'll be like, "Oh, what happened to you, pal?
You sized up.
You want a contract? I'll give you a contract now."
We have some interesting AEW news. What's going on there?
AEW has filed a new trademark and probably letting you know that where they're going to go with this. They have trademarked the phrase "Undisputed Elite."
So you're just trying to make the Undisputed Era into the Undisputed Elite. So it's just Undisputed.
Yeah, so that was a trademark. Also some stuff, AEW Fight Forever, which looks like could be the name, the title of the video game. So that's also been trademarked. But yeah, looks like Undisputed Elite trademarked for merchandise and all that fun stuff. So probably what they're going to be called. Be interesting to see if that, if they're just putting that as a placeholder, actually going to call them that, or what they're going to do. Because obviously, you got the Elite was Kenny Omega and the Bucks, and obviously there's going to be a split, especially when Kenny comes back, and there's going to be a feud with Omega and Adam Cole. Obviously, we've already seen the split between Red Dragon and the Bucks. So it'd be kind of interesting that they're called Undisputed Elite when they're actually kind of breaking away from the Bucks, and probably will not be associated with Kenny Omega when he comes back.
It is interesting that that AEW is now finding themselves in the same WWE realm of gotta license your products, gotta trademark your things, gotta shore up your properties, gotta do all that corporate stuff that AEW, apparently they're not a corporate wrestling promotion, right? Yes, they are. They're owned by a guy who owns a football team. They got to do everything that WWE is doing to stay competitive, and I do not challenge them for doing it at all. I like the name Fight Forever. Sounds cool. That's a very wrestling culture thing, right? That makes complete sense. And Undisputed Era, quite clever there. Quite clever that AEW gets to kind of do something that is almost parallel to what you've seen this team do before. I wonder why they didn't do that beforehand when you eventually got all of those, for the most part, just short of Roderick Strong. You got all of those Undisputed Era guys from NXT over in Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, and Adam Cole. I wonder why they didn't do that before. Maybe it's just a legal issue.
Yeah, I don't know. I am not exactly sure on that, but yeah, obviously that split is happening, and Omega is still far away from returning. So this may be a thing where the Bucks turn babyface and maybe join up with Hangman Page or something. And so, who of course was a part of the Elite and being the Elite in the early days, even before AEW existed. Hangman Page was with them in the Bullet Club and on the BTE early shows as well. So it may be a shot at the Elite that they go by that name, a kayfabe that shot at the Bucks and Omega and Hangman and those guys, maybe taking a little shot at them possibly. Be interesting to see how that story plays out as time goes on.
The time has been reached. It is Friday.
Yeah.
All right. It is the final segment, 5 days a week. You hardcore diehard fans, over 20,000 subscribers on YouTube. 1,000 subscribers on our podcast platform. Thank you guys so much. You want to hit us up with a question if you're watching on demand, jump into the comments below. I still respond to all these and talk to you guys all the time. But if you're with us live, this is where it pays off. You fire off the questions you get on screen. You want to talk about Triple H retiring, your favorite matches? We would love to know, all right? You want to ask us about what's going on with WrestleMania? You want to know. Don't fantasy book. No fantasy booking. Don't ask us if your fantasy booking is going to become reality booking, because that's not a question, all right? You got to form it in speculative points here, all right? You got questions about what's going on, what the news is, what our thoughts are on something else? Fire it off. Let's get into it. John Walt Cohen. When is Cody really coming to WWE? Cody should debut next Monday on Night 8 Raw. See, John Walt, you've already broken the rules. You're already trying to fantasy book things here, okay? Should he? Yes. I'm busting.
No, he won't show up till WrestleMania.
I think so too. I think it's smarter. Hold it out until WrestleMania. Hold it out. Maybe do the biggest tease you can do on Monday, but hold it out. I heard an interesting quote here that was shared by Justin LeBar. I was checking out Busted Open, SiriusXM today in the shower. And I heard Justin LeBar say, he was sharing a quote from Kevin Nash. You can't make money off what you don't advertise. All right. Now, I can say that, but in the digital age, I don't know if that adds up because enough fans are talking and they know something's going to happen. They did this before with The Undertaker, where, you had Cena call out The Undertaker. The thing is with Seth here, he hasn't said Cody's name. He just referenced rumors. That's it. And they're being a lot more coy with this one than they were with the John Cena one, where it was, I'm calling out The Undertaker. When is The Undertaker coming? I'm John Cena. I want The Undertaker. The Undertaker doesn't respond.
I'm gonna go get a beer and sit in the front row.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go take up $1,000 seat.
But if say they announce Cody's going to be there Monday, does that move tickets? Does that move more people to subscribe to Peacock in advance of WrestleMania, or do you want to do the payoff thing where, hey, you subscribed to Peacock, you bought your ticket for WrestleMania? Look at this. We gave you Cody Rhodes, right? Here's your cool surprise. You knew it was coming. We gave it to you. Yeah. Roland Curtis, always so grateful to the channel. Thank you so much for the super chat. Even with all of his power, Triple H, and his moments of humility, he could have easily won 17 world titles, but was satisfied with 14. He could have held the WWE title during the two-man power trip, but he accepted the Intercontinental title.
That is something I wish... That is something I wish that lasted a lot longer than it did. That two-man power trip with Triple H and Austin was so good, and it only lasted a few months. It was such a bummer.
He had that quad injury. He had that nasty quad injury that held him up here. People saying Triple H should be a manager or something like that. We'll see what happens here. Let's get into your questions.
He's got enough. He's got enough behind the scenes once he gets back to work that he'll be able to do that. So.
We'll get your questions on screen. You want to guarantee you get your questions on screen? Drop that super chat on us as well. It helps the channel out quite a bit.
Looking for some questions. Don't see how many questions, but here's one right here.
Mm-hmm. David Chisholm, what do y'all think of Impact Wrestling? They're in a really tough spot right here. I think they're in a very, very tough spot. They've been able to weather this before, but they're having even more waves of talent coming in out of the company. And it's something where they're definitely shoring up some bigger names. Josh Alexander staying with the company. That's a good sign. Jordan Gray staying with the company. That's a good sign. They have some interesting combinations with the Good Brothers being there. And a very, very strong relationship with the New Japan Pro Wrestling. They're going to do some cool shows in Dallas. I'm not saying it's all bad. They announced some cool stuff. They're going to be doing some bigger shows. But Access TV, which is owned by their company, Anthem Entertainment, so the company owns the cable channel they're on, which is good. Shows that they're in a secure place. But it's not a good channel to reach people. It's not on a lot of cable systems. It isn't a show that feels like appointment viewing. If you look up the ratings, they're not particularly great. But also, Nielsen ratings, I don't think truly show what a brand is. And I say that about WWE and AEW as well.
Yeah.
People come down on those ratings. Those ratings have a margin of error of like 30 or 40% sometimes.
If you throw Impact Wrestling $1, if you throw them $1 on YouTube, you can start watching Impact's show 30 minutes after it airs, starting at it starts here Central Time 7:00 on Access TV.
Mm-hmm.
You can start watching it in a live premiere 30 minutes after that at 7:30. So you could throw $1 at it and watch it that way if you are don't have Access TV. That's kind of a good way to do it. Impact has been really good, I think, for about 2 years now. There was they kept, there was a period of time like 2013, 2014, when Anthem started taking over. It was terrible, and then it would be good for a bit, and then terrible. I think it's been very solid for the past 2 years. The X division is tremendous, and they keep adding new guys to that division, like Mike Speedball Bailey. I think there are some great WWE talent that came over. Good Brothers, Heath, Steve Macklin has been impressive in my opinion. And
Cardona is there as well. Yeah, Matt Cardona.
And the Knockouts division is tremendous. And they finally, oddly enough, I don't know what took them so long, but they finally pulled the heel turn for Chelsea Green because she's a heel at every other indie promotion with Matt Cardona.
Did you see the fun, clever thing they did where she broke her wrist, but they faked it? Did
you
see this?
Yeah.
I thought that was such a little clever thing they did on, and they did it online too, which was a clever way of doing it too, to get people talking about it.
And so for their big WrestleMania weekend show, a hell of a mixed tag coming up with Cardona and Chelsea against Nick Aldis and Mickey James. So
quite the attraction. That's a big attraction on paper. Definitely check it out. Let's get more into it. We will be live, by the way, from Dallas all week long with special content. So keep an eye on our channel. Make sure also you have your notifications on so you know when we're dropping new stuff. And subscribe to the podcast channel if you just want to listen to everything we're doing as well. Thanks for that question, Dave. Chavis Greener with the question. With Triple H now retired, truly the Attitude Era, the Ruthless Aggression Era, has ended with no chance of return. It doesn't need to return. It's come and gone. That's why eras happen. Now, how does wrestling survive if there's no real big names left as active wrestlers? Now, Chavis, I understand what you're saying, but I really think that's a question that comes from fans of a certain age. I'm 38. All right. So to me, I understand the sentiment that you're getting at, but for someone who is 10 or 12, Finn Balor is a huge name. Roman Reigns is a huge name.
Look how
Seth
much money.
Rollins Becky Lynch is a huge name. Sasha
Yeah.
Banks is a huge name to them.
Look how much money Roman Reigns is generating as a heel.
Yeah, and he's making money as a heel. Brock Lesnar is still a big attraction. Over in AEW, you have tons of big names, and they're doing their own thing as an alternative brand that's really, moving the needle for themselves. So I get what you're saying. I'm not saying it's a bad question. I get what you're saying though. But for WrestleMania, are we still going to see big names come back? I don't think that's going away for the next few years.
The big problem with their booking is they do a lot of 50-50 booking that keeps from making elite top tier stars. Right now, you should have Sami Zayn at the top of your card. You should have Shinsuke Nakamura at the top of your card. You should have Kevin Owens at the top of your card. Those are some just names off the top of my head. Ricochet, who now they are finally getting behind. But there are a bunch of names that should be at the top of the card and should have been built over the years that they haven't. And a lot of that gets killed with 50-50 booking.
Chav is following up here. Said Roman's a name, but he hasn't crossed over like his cousin The Rock. He will. Austin or even Daniel Bryan.
When he gets old enough to not want to do this 300 days a year, he will.
Yeah. What can be done to bring wrestling close to what it was? I don't know if it needs to be what it was. And I bring that up in this way. I don't think anything in media needs to be what it was, because with the subscription models now, niche now becomes mainstream. Wrestling's been mainstream for 30, 40 years now. Yeah. It's even now more mainstream on Peacock. It's even now more mainstream with AEW on TNT, TBS, right? It's even now more mainstream in the sense of, WWE is this and pro wrestling is this. You see fans trying to make that alliteration there.
A lot of people forget they only remember the top of the Attitude Era. They don't forget that there was a lot of crap during that time. A lot of bad matches in the Attitude Era. But, obviously remember Austin and everything he did, and Rock and everything he did, Vince McMahon, everything he did. But there was a lot of crap too during that era. So, it necessary overall, I think the business is better than what it was back then. It may not be bigger. You may not get the big pops that you got in the late 90s. You may not get 7 million television viewers, but as Kevin said, that is because the model has evolved. You're not going to get those big numbers anymore because it's impossible with the amount of channels and options that they have now. But a lot of people forget that there was a lot of crap in the Attitude Era as well.
Jay Feliciano, a man I know, I can tell you for sure, knows a thing or two about pro wrestling. Triple H on commentary. He did this on the first SmackDown they did in the Performance Center, right at the beginning of the pandemic. They did this as a fun, a little addition. They just threw him on commentary.
That was good. I like that.
I thought it was fun. I'm not opposed to it. I think Triple H making appearances and doing things like that while still being, a critical producer of WWE's executive structure is important. I think he's a big part of WWE's future. Yeah, they sell the company. You got to have him involved. That's the way I feel about it.
Yeah.
And I know people are going to be so mad about that. Raheem saying, do you think Vince McMahon, do you think WWE will sell? We've been asked this question quite a bit. I know the closer you get to WrestleMania, the biggest event that WWE presents, obviously they present a lot of huge events, but this one's the biggest. We've heard more and more about this with the releases. Oh, that means they're going to release people. I think that's cooled down quite a bit. The speculation around that has cooled down significantly. Does that mean I think it's gone away completely? No. I do think they're going to have more advanced relationships with other media companies, but think about this. Right now, WWE has deals with A&E, NBC Universal, Fox, And to some degree, indirectly, they have a deal with Disney, which owns a majority stake in Hulu. So you get some of their content on Hulu, all right? Their next day streaming rights. They have deals with all of those companies. Then if you want to go beyond it internationally, you have a massive agreement with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. They have different individual agreements. They just signed one this week for the Middle East and North Africa. They have different regional things like that. What happens to all of those deals if somebody buys it? Do we have to wait for all those deals? There's a lot to bring in here that I don't think people see on the surface.
Yeah, I'll tell you
I don't
this.
know if WWE sells. I don't know if they sell right away. Could it happen in the future? It always could.
I've been saying this ever since, the last deals were made. Keep an eye on what deals, or keep an eye and compare the deal that they get from Fox and Universal the next time around. And if it's considerably different and lower, then you maybe start talking about those rumors again.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. A lot to come up here. There's TV contracts coming up.
One more question for the evening. We got two. Let's do two.
Let's do two more. Steven Chambers, any word on when Danhausen will make his in-ring debut with AEW? He's simply just been making appearances and cursing people.
Soon. He is progressing nicely.
Yeah, he broke his leg the same day Mance Warner did on the same show. They both had leg breaks, so fun times.
He is getting there was actually a report came out yesterday that he is hopefully going to return to the ring soon, but no exact timetable just yet.
Delwyn Jones here with a question. Thoughts on WrestleMania 38 card so far? Apparently there's 2 added matches, which would make it 14 matches over 2 days. Yeah, we did get news yesterday. What was the time frame we heard? They're going to do about 5-hour blocks.
A 2-hour pre-show, 3-hour main show, both nights.
So that makes about sense. I mean, and they can go longer. It's streaming. They can do what they want. They're not bound by it, especially with Peacock. I think I think on paper, if you just look at the card and you weren't watching WWE, this is a really interesting card with a lot of celebrity involvement. It's interesting. They've made some changes to the card as well. It looks like Stone Cold and Kevin Owens and not a match, but a KO segment will go on last. So you'll have a segment, not a match, and WrestleMania night 1. Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar at the top of the card on night 2. And they're adding some more names here. I think we got to figure out how Ricochet, the Intercontinental Champion, and Finn Balor, the United States Champion, find their way into this card in some way. Plus, we have the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal and possibly a women's Battle Royal that could be added to the show.
I think we'll get some of that stuff announced tonight, especially with Intercontinental title, and then maybe the rest on Monday. I think Friday will be a little late for announcements, as I think they're going to mix in some Hall of Fame. The card, I think night 1 is half and half. Half of the matches, I think the build has been terrible or not a WrestleMania worthy. The other half has been good. I think most of night 2, outside of the women's tag, has been built really well. I think the men's tag and on Raw has been great. I think Knoxville and Zayn have been entertaining. McAfee and Theory have been a good build, and of course you got Brock and Roman. So I think night 2 has been built a little better than night 1, but I think overall we're gonna have some fun and some prizes. And if we don't get the surprises that we want, maybe we'll get them on the Monday after WrestleMania, because there are plans to kind of get back to the old Raw after Mania and bring in some debuts and surprises. So if you don't get to see what you want on that Sunday or Saturday, that Monday may provide what you're looking for.
Thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in. We appreciate it. Did you have fun? Did you just catch us? Well, rewind and go all the way back to the beginning if you're just catching us. Thank you guys for checking us out 5 days a week. Let me just tell you, next week is going to be awesome. We're going to have so much special WrestleMania stuff for you. It's going to be quite cool. An exclusive interview with some former WWE writers is coming to the channel. All right. We have an interview up right now with Braun Breaker, which is on our YouTube channel as well. You can check out. So much going on, so much wrestling to follow. Keep an eye on sportskeeda.com. Download the app if you haven't done it already. It'll make it real easy for you. You won't have to go Googling around. We got it all for you right there in one spot. And Jeremy Bennett, if they want to follow you on the Twitter machine, they can go do that at JB Huskers. Are you doing any buzzkills there? You didn't buzzkill anything today.
I buzzkilled half of night 1 of WrestleMania.
Okay, so. It's true. You did buzzkill that. You did buzzkill that. We have our Sportskeeda Trivia Federation. It is our Mania special, all WrestleMania trivia going down this Sunday, 1 p.m. in the East, 12 p.m. in the Central. It's going to be a big deal. It's going to be a big deal. Triple threat. Robert D. Fries representing Fightful.com. All right. SP3, a Quizzlemania champion in his own from Wrestle Talk.
And a guy with multiple personalities.
He has multiple personalities.
And a guy that will be joining me on Top Story Wednesday through Friday next week before
Yes,
Mania.
we have some travel issues, so we have to make sure we're covered there. And then, of course, Rick Uchipo from Believe in Pro Wrestling. Of course, host of Smack Talk. He'll be on there. He's the interim champion. There's some debate about whether or not he's champion.
Yeah, he's been ducking Sid, but then Sid screwed Robert. So now we got a triple threat, and we got some good questions in the bank. I got to finish up some more tonight, maybe during SmackDown, but then I just found out a friend of mine's in town from Arizona, so I may have to write these last minute on Saturday night before I go out. So
you can do it.
I've done it before. I've whipped them up, and I don't have to do as many as I did for the Rumble. So I had to do like 45 questions for the Rumble. I only have to do 25 here. So, and then if we have a tie, I'll whip up some tiebreakers. But it's going to be a great battle. Kev will be on camera with me a little bit, maybe then pop in behind the scenes, interact with you guys in the chat, as well as help referee if we got a little tiebreaker that we got to do. So we'll get in there and have a lot of fun on Sunday afternoon. So make sure to join us.
What a fitting way to end the show. Thank you, CRC. Big fan of the show here as we get ready to close out and we fondly look back at the in-ring career of Triple H, the Game, the King of Kings, the Cerebral Assassin. All right? If you watch the show and if you're not down with that, I got 2 words for you. What are they, Jeremy?
Enjoy wrestling.
Yeah?
Yeah.